There are few places in England so steeped in legend as the Kentish village of Pluckley. In the old records of the county, the village was once described as a pleasant hamlet of hedgerows and quiet airs. But by the end of the 19th century, Pluckley's name had become entangled with ghost stories that drifted like mist across its fields. Farmers spoke of a coach drawn by spectral horses that thundered along the lanes at night. Others swore they heard a woman crying by the bridge or saw a man hanging from the trees at dawn. But none of the village's tales were as feared as those of the Screaming Woods, a dark clutch of ancient trees said to whisper the names of the dead. By 1900, locals avoided the path after sunset. Those who entered after dark seldom spoke of what they found within. You arrive in Pluckley at dusk, your boots heavy with the mud of a long road from Ashford. The air smells of frost and wood smoke. The last train left hours ago, and the next will not come until morning. The innkeeper at the Black Horse eyes you with a mixture of curiosity and warning. If it's lodgings you're after, he says, you've missed your chance. But there's a barn up by the woods old Cartwright's place, empty since spring. You'll find shelter enough there if you don't mind the company. He says it lightly, but his eyes shift toward the window toward the east, where the woods rise like a black tide against the dying sky. The villagers speak little after that. Coins change hands, candles flicker, and when you step back out into the night, the sound of your boots seems louder than before, echoing against the cobbles of the lane. A mile from the inn, the hedgerows give way to open fields. The last light has gone from the west, and the stars glimmer weakly behind a gauze of mist. Ahead, the trees wait tall, crooked and whispering. You tell yourself that you are only passing through, that you'll find the barn, sleep, and leave at dawn. But the wind carries a low sound through the branches, a sound that might almost be voices. The path into the Screaming Woods is narrow, lined with bramble and yew. You can smell the damp moss and the faint sweetness of decay. Somewhere in the distance, a nightjar calls, then falls silent. The deeper you walk, the quieter the world becomes. Even your breath seems to hang heavy, as though the air itself resists you. You find the barn at last, a small, leaning structure with gaps between its timbers wide enough for the moon to slip through. Inside, there's a pile of old hay, a broken lantern, and the faint trace of something burned long ago. You settle there, lighting a candle from your pack. Its flame trembles as though in warning. The woods outside shift and murmur. Then, faintly, you hear it, a sigh, no, a cry. So distant you could mistake it for the wind. But as the minutes stretch on, it comes again, clearer this time, a human sound, sharp and despairing. The candle sputters. You tell yourself it's foxes or an owl, anything but what your mind suggests. Yet the noise continues low, ragged, and closer. You step outside. The mist has thickened. The trees loom in perfect stillness, their bark pale as bone. And there, from deeper in the forest, the cry comes again, unmistakably a scream. You follow the sound, driven by a mix of fear and compulsion. Your boots sink into wet earth, your breath clouds before you. The moon peers weakly through the canopy, casting trembling shadows that move when you don't. A flicker of movement catches your eye, a figure by the old cart road. A man, perhaps, or the outline of one. He stands motionless beside a tree, his coat tattered, his hat pulled low. "Hello," you call, your voice swallowed by the mist. The figure turns slowly, and you see his face, or what remains of it. The eyes are hollow, the mouth a dark ruin of shadow, as though the night itself has hollowed him out. He raises a hand not to wave, but to point toward the heart of the woods. Then he's gone, dissolving like smoke into the fog. Your pulse hammers. You step back, nearly stumble. You should run. But something in you refuses curiosity, perhaps, or something deeper, darker. The kind of pull that makes people open forbidden stores just to see what's inside. The screams begin again, not one, but many. Men, women, children, a chorus of anguish echoing through the trees. And beneath it all, a whisper. "Stay with us." You find the clearing by accident. The mist thins just enough to reveal a circle of ancient oaks, their branches arching together like the ribs of a vast cathedral. In the center stands a great stone, half buried and covered in moss. Carved into its face are faint markings, names, perhaps, or runes, but they twist and change each time you try to read them. You feel a hum in the air, low and constant, as if the earth itself were breathing. Then, a whisper behind you, then another, and another. You turn, but there's no one there. Only shadows, pale and human-shaped, moving just beyond the reach of your sight. Your lantern flickers and dies. The darkness folds in. Something touches your shoulder. You spin, but what you see freezes your lungs. Faces, dozens of them half-formed in the mist. Their eyes empty, their mouths open in silent screams. They crowd closer, the air cold as grave soil. One of them reaches for you, its hand passing through your chest like smoke, yet you feel the chill sink deep, like fingers closing around your heart. You stagger back, gasping, as whispers fill your head. They were lost, they are lost, you will join them. You run, branches tear at your coat, roots clutch at your boots. But no matter which way you turn, the forest folds back in on itself. Every path leads deeper, darker, and always, the voices follow. You find yourself back at the barn, or what you think is the barn. But it's wrong. The roof is caved in, the walls warped, as if decades have passed. Your candle is still on the ground, melted to a puddle of wax. Outside, dawn is nowhere to be seen. You step out and realize the trees have changed. They stand closer now, their trunks blackened, their branches clawing toward the sky. The air hums again, louder this time, a sound like breath drawn through 1,000 throats. And then you see them, the figures from before, circling you, their faces clearer now. You recognize some from the portraits in the inn. The farmer who vanished in '78, the girl lost on her wedding night, the woodcutter found dead beside his axe. Their mouths move in unison. Stay, stay, stay. The forest pulses. The stone in the clearing glows faintly in the distance, as if calling you home. You try to fight it, but the pull is too strong. Your thoughts unravel. The world narrows to sound and shadow and the rhythmic whisper of your own name. You take one step toward the stone, then another, and as you do, a strange calm settles over you. The voices grow softer, almost kind. You've come so far, they say you need not leave again. You reach the stone, place your hand upon it. The carvings shift, forming letters. You finally recognize your own name. The last thing you feel is the ground giving way, the earth closing like water around your feet. Then the woods fall silent. Weeks later, a farmhand from Pluckley finds a traveler's satchel near the edge of the Screaming Woods. Inside, a broken lantern, a silver pocket watch, and a small notebook. The last page is smeared, but the words can still be read. No one ever finds the traveler's body, but those who walk near the woods at night sometimes hear a new voice among the screams, one that calls softly, over and over, for someone who will never return. And so the legend grows. They say that if you stand at the edge of the Screaming Woods when the mist is thickest, and listen long enough, you can still hear the footsteps of a traveler walking deeper and deeper into the dark, and the forest whispering his name.